And so, yeah, the reason why he mentions this magical and occult, he starts to explain, the narrator, who is a youngster at the time, well, when the story is set in chapter 1, and the story does jump around to different parts of the narrator's life, yeah, when he was a boy and when he was a teacher later, a history teacher, as you will see. Yeah, as you will see. His father, he explains, my father had a knack for telling stories. And I want you to remember this, a knack. It's informal, certainly, but he means a talent for telling stories, a flair for telling stories. So his dad had a knack for telling stories, and I agree, it sounds like he did. And he also says my mother also had a knack for telling stories, and I suppose he's trying to insinuate that maybe they passed it on to him. Yeah, that they passed on to him this flair, this talent for telling stories. So let's have a look at this next sentence. The Pumps, yeah, the whole story is set in Norfolk, or the Fens, Norfolk, I think. And this is a very flat part of the country. My area is very flat as well, and it's also very watery, but not as watery as Norfolk, which is very, very flat and very low. And so there are a lot of rivers and lakes, and there's a lot of water on the land. And so these are water pumps. The pumps were thumping. Now I want you to remember the word thump rather than tump, but I'm sure that he's taken this tump, 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 tump. It's onomatopoeic, yeah? He means the pumps were making this noise, which was like tump, 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 tump. But remember this word thump, 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 because you can thump on the wall, yeah? You can thump your fist on the table. You can thump somebody, which means hit them. And so do remember thump, and thumping is very similar, thump thumping. The pumps were thumping, as they do, and look at this as they do, that which they do, yeah? This is this as, what they do incessantly. Yeah, and so I didn't finish this sentence. You can read chapter 1 and see the rest of it, but the pumps were thumping as they do incessantly, without stopping. Yeah, incessantly means without stopping. Okay, and so that's another use of as. One more, up above, yeah, up above, and notice we use two prepositions for up above. Up above, very often we do this in English, just gonna have to get used to it, guys, that we have compound prepositions, in, on, out of. Somebody asked me recently about off of, which is technically wrong, but loads of people say it. In fact, I find it hard not to say it nowadays. And so be aware that we have a lot of compound prepositions. Up above, the sky swarmed. Now, normally we talk about a bee swarm or a flying insect swarm. Flying insects swarm. I had a bee swarm about 3 weeks ago, and I've never seen anything like it. It was like something from the Bible. I thought I had been cursed like Job, and he had sent a load of bees to my garden. I couldn't go out of the shed. It was that bad. And I had to call a beekeeper, and she came round and collected the bees. But the bees swarmed in the sky. There were so many of them. And the swarm lasted at least 30 minutes. You know, it was for a long time. All I could see and hear were bees buzzing.